Okay. So, it's been a couple of months. It has been a couple of months. You know, I want to be all like, I was just taking time for myself to just work on my mental health, but that would be...
Yeah.
Okay, I'll offer a Vibical update, you know, of the general vibes during my absence on this here website. I feel like life has turned me into a fictional Generations character, not the legacy. Specifically in those last few seconds before some juicy Johannesburg B-roll plays, I just found myself looking to the distance a lot. Like, just thinking to myself, what's a lie?
Love always. Poor.
Except the director never said cut, scene never ended, the B-roll never played, the camera was never there, because I wasn't a fictional character in a soap opera, and I didn't have a storyline. I had a life instead. I didn't have much to say. I did not have much to contribute. But yeah, I've been going through it all. Being the drugs and the alcohol. Actually, no, not that, but okay. Anyways, one of the things that like were keeping me going was making stuff. I don't remember a portion of my life where making things was not fundamental. My relationship with art, it's always been performance based. Ever since I've been making stuff, it's felt natural to share that stuff, and it was kind of encouraged. You know, I had a platform. Earlier this year, I was like making stuff, sharing stuff, making stuff, sharing stuff, and I started noticing how validation was affecting what I was making. Even the idea of validation. Getting really anxious every time I shared something I made. After I shared it, I wasn't excited. I was depressed.
Okay, what is this person gonna think? What is that person gonna think? Is this person even gonna care?
I was more worried about people's opinions and thoughts that they held to themselves. It felt like, is my art a sham? If everyone ridicules it, misunderstands it, or hates it, or ignores it, will it still be worth it? And what is the priority? Is it the art or the audience? Like, why am I doing this? Why am I making stuff? Why am I creating? I create simply because if I don't, I'll literally die.
I drop the top to the portion, I stick out my head and scream, Mama, I made it. Mama, I made it. Mama, I made it. Mama, I made it, brother.
Ma? When an artist exclaims, Mama, I made it, it paints this narrative of like humble beginnings and a journey thereafter where they had to work. It took effort, it took struggle, it took loss, it took sacrifice, it took perseverance, and that is credited to them making it. And the it is success. This statement is essentially an artist saying, Bonang, khale ke le Johnny Walker, but now Kidut. And where's Kidut guy? In my squam, in my bag. The mama being addressed here obviously refers to a mother figure, but it also symbolizes roots and background and implies a sense of gratitude as the artist takes a moment to look back on their path and appreciate where they are. It also implies a plea for pride. It's almost like the statement is missing, Mama, I made it. Are you proud of me? The achievement is presented and it's like, I hope you see that I made something of myself. It wasn't all for nothing, and I hope you're proud of me. And it's especially true if the individual story was unfortunate in the beginning. If Nyovest na chelete, for instance, if Nola rough, it expresses that mama, rest, you know, serele monate, no, serele sharp. Okay, like I'm not immune to the desire of saying, mama, your girl. I know you did something with your girl because your girl made it. I also want to leave like this fat ass legacy behind me. I want monetary success. I do, preferably while I'm still alive. That would be great. I'm not immune to the desire. It's very deep. It's very insatiable sometimes, and sometimes it makes me not fall asleep. But I also think that this version of the dream that you're supposed to have as a creative can be very stifling. It limits the expansiveness of creativity into this very little, because who actually gets to that point? For the amount of people that say, Mama, I made it,
there are likely 10,000 others that we'll never hear saying,
Mama, she is here next door. Ngomso.
it can feel like the options are limited, that the options are be amazing and great and number one and the only one in your field that's like doing great, or 9 to 5 it and have a miserable life. I don't know why I'm laughing. Mama, I made it. Or the alternative, which is always bad, which is always a failure, which is always not noble or respectable. It can feel that way. Like success, the way it's modeled, is about individuals, about like trampling on everyone in your way. Just stepping on anything to get to the toppity tippity top. And I think our whole society could benefit from different types of messages about success, prioritizing people feeling fulfilled in their lives and fulfilled in their abilities and fulfilled in their contributions to the world. Okay, well, one of the consequences that comes with like performing at an early age is that it's hard to like stop. You learn to connect with your performance through your audience rather than the performance itself and the integrity in the performance. I just would say anything to get applause. Like, I would say anything. If I believe it or not, doesn't really matter. If I thought it would connect with the audience, then I'd just do it. Also, that's just like being a child, you know. Validation is like great. It's great as an adult as well, but as a child, it's like really much better. So much more fulfilling and so much more affirming. Performance teaches you to, at least it taught me how to prioritize the beholder, to prioritize the audience. And I don't think I've ever really connected with what I was doing. Like, art has always been almost impersonal. It's just like unfair to your art, and it's unfair to you as well, because like you can just never enjoy what you're doing until someone pats you on the back for it.
I'd say to my dad, I want to be a writer. And he'd say journalist. I'd say I wanted to have a refuge for stray cats, and he'd say veterinarian. I'd say I wanted to be an actress, and he'd say, TV newscaster. It was this constant conversion of my fanciful ambition into this practical money-making ventures.
Artists in South Africa have to have a great amount of resistance to continue creating. The encouragement is either the Mama I Made It route, or dead silence. Dead silence. The encouragement that we do receive is more so just encouragement that every other field receives. It's like, oh, I mean, if you can make money out of it, you know, go for it. I think that the only type of artists that receive some type of like assurance of the value of their role is like, for instance, spiritual artists who like use their gifts and their talents to like give into their spiritual communities, if that makes sense. So in a church it would be the singer or the choir people. It's like the dancers in spiritual practices, for instance. Like there's a strong sense of role, there's a strong sense, I would assume. Yeah, like I said, you have to have a lot of resistance. You kind of have to really love what you do to continue doing it, because as soon as you start, it's like, well, not a lot is gonna come out of this. You're told very early that whatever you're doing, like unless there's a clear like opportunity that has monetary reward, I never like that's kind of the vibe that you get growing up here as a creative, is that what you have to offer the world, or what you feel like you have to offer, doesn't amount to much. A lot of creatives have to deal with the feeling that they are just taking up space for no reason at all. It almost feels selfish, because if you feel like your community and your culture doesn't really respect what you're doing, it almost feels like you're just doing it for yourself, which is not true. Which is not true at all. Like, we have art pieces that hold so much around them. They signify an important feeling of unity. They were captured in a specific time, or they symbolize a specific political triumph, or they signify freedom. We have so much art that is so important, and we pretend that art is not important. And that it's only important if you can become a superstar from your art.
When I was a kid and I'd look for art that reflected me, it's very hard to find. I gotta be honest, it makes me wonder if we're good enough. It makes me wonder if we're worthy as Black people with Black culture of African descent to be prioritized in art.
I grew up with a very narrow idea of what art is. I didn't grow up in an environment where like art was a big part of our lives, or consuming art, except like music and like kind of seeing art by chance. But yeah, there was just not enough. It wasn't like, oh, let's go to the gallery and appreciate art. Like, there wasn't a lot of art appreciation in how I grew up, and I think that's a lot for a lot of Black people. Like, Black people and art, bro. The Black community and art have a very intense relationship. I just feel like Black people don't feel like they're involved in art. Like, they don't feel like it's their thing, and that's not true.
Not a lot of Black people understands art, or they're interested in art. You know what I mean? Even in terms of supporting or buying art, they don't really invest in art. So it's quite a challenge to actually have a voice as a Black person through art.
I was cultured in an environment that didn't really value art, and you know, because I was cultured in, even though I know the importance of art now, even with all that, like, I also, like, it trickled down into me. Like, I meet someone and I'm like, oh, they're cute, and then they'll be like, yeah,
I'm a musician, I'm a rapper, I'm a artist, and
I'm like, oh, can you not just be an engineer? And this is my type. These are my people. They'll be like,
yeah, I'm an aspiring rapper.
Inside of me, I'm like, yo, tlala. I think I've internalized the idea that art is linked to instability, especially financial, which does not need to be the case. You don't need to pursue it as a way to make money. You don't need to. Especially if
this pursuit feels vocational to you. We don't all need to make what feels like a purpose or a hobby into our jobs. Like, we don't need to, especially when you're linking the pursuit of art and the pursuit of living creatively to our current economical status of state. Then you must be a little bit pragmatic, yeah? You can't be a voyeur, you can't be a big dreamer. I mean, you can. It's worked for a lot of people. Not enough. It was almost like as I was making what I was making, it was dictated to me by an outside source. Every single word, every single line, every single choice, it would come with a comment, like imagined commentary. Just a chorus of people just telling me all the ways that it's stupid, telling me all the ways I should change it, all the ways that it's like just unacceptable, and all the ways that I can make it so they like it. When you imagine an audience's reaction, it's rarely ever accurate because you don't really know how things connect with other people. Unless they are just brutally honest, you can assume and people can tell you, oh, that's nice, but you never really know how it connected. You never know how it landed on the ear. You don't know how it was digested. You don't know like what someone is going through in order to digest that. Like you don't know. To care so much about that is all. It's like dumb, for lack of a better word. Like, bro. And essentially you're putting the audience in a box in a way that you think you understand them, and you're like limiting all the ways that you could connect with them by not connecting with what you're doing. Like stepping on eggshells, walking on eggshells. Yeah, that one. It's dumb because you don't really know what you're walking on, because what standard are you using? It would be a waste of my time to try to pinpoint exactly what people want, because I don't know them, I don't know their thoughts, and they are kind of none of my business. I noticed that the things that don't resonate with me, the words I've wrote that don't resonate with me, the videos I've made that don't resonate with me are the ones where I feel like we're just lacking in me being vulnerable. One of the things, like, my art always requires is vulnerability. So when I don't allow it to go there, I always just feel like something's missing, and I just never know what it is. And like sometimes I just don't want to be vulnerable. The process of art and art making, it will spin you around, put you up and down, like tear you open. Sometimes I'll be making something and in between I'll be like, nah, we are not going there. Like, it would really like reveal to you what's happening. The feelings you have, the urges you have, the grossness, your perversion. It's so unpredictable. You'll have an intention to be like, okay, there's gonna be light and fun and lighthearted and blah, blah, blah. You'll be like, dun, dun. Okay, this is me writing a song. Dun, dun, dun. What about you, dad? You know what I mean? And you're like, no. I think all the things that are beautiful just have flow to it. You just have to kind of go with the flow, and I'm not a go with the flow type of gal. Like, where's the flow going? What's the destination of the flow? What time are we getting to the destination of the flow? I just want to be prepared. And art strips me of that. But I like that. I like that about it. It's not a stingy pursuit. If you give, it gives. Well, like, if we move for 2%, it's over 2%. If you're tense with it, it's tense with you. Like, it's all. You know, we don't have to be digging into my fears and like going to the depths of my insecurities. You don't have to do that, but then I lack connection. You can't have connection without vulnerability. Like, I think art is like my longest relationship. That is not my parents. I guess people who were there when I was born. Shab, okay, fine, family. Fine. It's been my longest relationship that I've chosen. And it's going into a transition. And it's scary because I've used it for so long to gain acceptance. If I go with my gut, which is to just do it for its own sake and just try to connect with it more and try to like put my foot in it and like stop worrying about whatever's gonna happen. I'm scared that I'll never find acceptance. Art is it's so cool. It's so cool. And I think it deserves to be prioritized.
Art invites us to take the journey beyond price, beyond costs, into bearing witness to the world as it is and as it should be. Art invites us to know beauty and to solicit it from even the most tragic of circumstances. Art reminds us that we belong here. Okay, thank you so much for watching if you made it this far. I hope you enjoyed it. And the last thing I want to say is, if you're creative and artist, whatever the fuck you want to call yourself, keep creating. And also obviously, salibalang utasa mulomo in the process. Danko means thank you. Okay, bye.